Ilhan Omar is breaking loose in a new unhinged rant about President Trump, while Stephen Miller puts the final nail in the coffin. And at the same exact time, Mike Johnson ends Jasmine Crockett's disastrous campaign while looking very mischievous. And I want to talk about it. So welcome back to the Adam C. Moreno Show. Please like, subscribe, turn on the bell, and let's dive into all this news together. We will start with the president in Pennsylvania. Check this out. This was last night.
Please raise your hand. That's for Minnesota, you know. That's called the Great Big Minnesota Scam with one of the dumbest governors ever in history. I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little shoe, the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, I mean, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military, they have no nothing, they have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing, they have no police. They police themselves, they kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country and she's always complaining about the Constitution allows me to do this. We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in, right? She married her brother. Can you imagine if Donald Trump married his sister? Beautiful. She's a beautiful person. If I married my sister to get my citizenship, do you think I'd last for about 2 hours, or would it be something less than that? She married her brother to get in. Therefore, she's here illegally. She should get the hell out. Throw her the hell out. She does nothing but complain.
And there you have it. You see so many people in the back saying to send her back after President Trump says that she should get the hell out of here. So I can't believe that actually happened. This is why Ilhan Omar said this immediately afterwards. She said, Trump's obsession with me is beyond weird. He needs serious help. Since he has no economic policies to tout, he's resorting to regurgitating bigoted lies instead. He continues to be a national embarrassment. You know, I know President Trump, what he said, some people might think that is brutal. But you know what else is brutal? Defrauding the American people. And that's something that Ilhan Omar still hasn't apologized for. And she says that President Trump is a national embarrassment. But you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking the real embarrassment is lecturing America about truth and integrity when you still haven't answered basic questions about the fraud that's taking place in America. You still haven't answered about the mountain of contradictions that have followed you over the past decade, which you still haven't commented on at all because you have this weird self-righteous bowl of nonsense saying that you don't want to talk about your personal life. You want to talk about the people that you serve, yet the people that you serve are all questioning things because things simply do not add up. That's why people are upset. But you know what? Go for it. Go on X and write this post. People are used to your strange non-answers, although they are getting sick of it. But a little self-reflection would go a long way for crying out loud. Thankfully, some people could put her in her place, like Trump advisor Stephen Miller. Here's him dropping the hammer on Representative Minnesota Ilhan Omar.
Not only is the first generation unsuccessful, again, Somalia is a clear example here. Not only is the first generation unsuccessful, but you see persistent issues in every subsequent generation. So you see consistent high rates of welfare use, consistent high rates of criminal activity, consistent failures to assimilate. But this shouldn't be a surprise, Will. It's just common sense. If Somalians cannot make Somalia successful, why would we think that the track record would be any different in the United States? Go third world country by third world country. No one's saying, look, there are people all over the world that are great people. But you look at the society. If Libya keeps failing, if the Central African Republic keeps failing, if Somalia keeps failing, right? If these societies all over the world continue to fail, you have to ask yourself, if you bring those societies into our country and then give them unlimited free welfare, What do we think is going to happen? You're going to replicate the conditions that they left over and over and over again. And we mask the impact of immigration in every public policy issue we discuss. We talk about test scores. Well, if you subtract immigration out of test scores, all of a sudden our test scores skyrocket. If you subtract immigration out of healthcare, all of a sudden we don't have nearly the size of the healthcare challenges our country faces. If you subtract immigration out of public safety, all of a sudden we don't have violent crime in so many of our cities. Issue after issue, we talk about these things that they just happen to us. The schools just suddenly fail. Violent crime just suddenly explodes. The deficit just suddenly skyrockets. These are a result of social policy choices that we made through immigration.
If you import failed systems, you get failed results, whether you like stimuli or not. The argument does hit a real pressure point because these are things that everyone cares about: education, healthcare, society. And what's been uncovered is really, really interesting. Even Benny Johnson said something that made me kind of stop a little bit. Here's him in a conversation with Senator Rand Paul. Look at this first section here.
I mean, I like to use the 51st state rule, which is if the country wouldn't make a good 51st state, then why are you importing people from that country? If you were to bring Somalia over and just attach it to Florida or the Carolinas, would people want to visit? And the answer to that has got to be no, because
So really, really interesting way to think about it. And now I wanted us to jump to Speaker Mike Johnson when he ends Jasmine Crockett's hopefully career in less than 60 seconds. And just look at how excited he is to answer this question. I feel like this is so mischievous and just what a funny face to see. Check this out.
Yeah. Can I get your thoughts on Jasmine Crockett's run for Senate? What does it say about the state of the Democratic Party? And do you feel worried about the chance of winning at all?
I'm absolutely delighted that Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate in Texas. I think it's one of the greatest things that's happened to the Republican Party in a long, long time. She is the face of the Democratic Party. She and Mamdani. Good luck with that. I want her to have the largest, loudest microphone that she can every single day. And we look forward to having that election down there. We are going to elect another Republican senator in Texas. Texas is a red state. The people of Texas are common sense Americans, and what Jasmine is trying to sell will not be purchased by the folks of Texas. That is my prediction. Yes.
My goodness, I don't think I've ever seen Speaker Johnson smile like this and be so excited to answer a question. But you know what? Maybe it's because he knows that Jasmine Crockett's entire brand, which is viral clips, yelling in committee hearings, and just hoping that the outrage sparks enough momentum that it leads to what? A promotion? That is complete absurdity. Look at this. She was just on CNN with Jake Tapper when she said the most delusional thing ever, saying that Latino Trump voters have a slave mentality. What? Look at this.
Let me ask you about a quote that you've made that has some Democrats worried about your ability to win statewide. In a December 2024 Vanity Fair profile, you talked about, quote, and I'm going to read a lot of the quotes just to put it in the context, quote, all the complexities within the Latino community. The immigration thing has always been something that has perplexed me about this community. It's basically like, I fought to get here, but I left y'all where I left y'all, and I want no more y'all to come here. If I wanted to be with y'all, I would stay with y'all, but I don't want y'all coming to my new home. It almost reminds me of what people would talk about when they would talk about kind of like slave mentality and the hate that some slaves would have for themselves. It's almost like a slave mentality that they have. Now, about the time that was published last year, around 1 million Latino voters in Texas were voting for Trump. Do they all have slave mentality?
No, and that's not what that said at all, to be clear. It did not say that every Latino has that type of mentality.
No, but the ones that vote for people who believe in strong or Trump's immigration policies.
So I don't believe that the people that voted for Trump believe in what they're
I cannot believe this right now. I am like stunned and shattered. My brain is gonna explode out of my head. She just said, that's not what I said. Girl, he just read it for you. It was on the screen. We all see it. And this is when I think about what Speaker Mike Johnson just said, like, oh my gosh, give this lady the biggest microphone you could find. She is the leader of the Democratic Party. We are completely happy that she is making this new Senate run. And it's because of things like this, right? It is as clear as day. It's almost like a slave mentality that they have when talking about Latinos who vote for Trump or vote conservative and Republican. it is just wild to see. And this is when I think Mike Johnson is right on the money when he says that Jasmine Crockett run for Senate is a really, really good thing. It is hilarious and probably true. But that is the news, and I'd love to know what you think about it, from Jasmine Crockett to Ilhan Omar just losing it, lashing out at President Trump, to Stephen Miller as well. And tell me what you think about President Trump's comments on the representative from Minnesota. Interesting or a little too much? You go ahead and let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please like, subscribe, turn on the bell, all that jazz, and I will see you all next time. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.